Let's go to the required reading. So our friends Jeremy Fowler and Dan Graziano right now on ESPN.com have a ton of intel on free agency and trades following the combine. And here's what they wrote about A.J. Brown. They wrote, teams have contacted the Eagles about a potential Brown trade, but word is that Philly's asking price remains too high. This lines up with what I heard about the Eagles' stance. They'd be open to the right offer, but it would have to be a really good one. They don't want to just get rid of Brown or need him off the team for any chemistry reasons. That's from, again, Graziano and Fowler on ESPN.com. That piece was from our buddy Dan. Peter, help us with this. What are you hearing about Philadelphia? What should we be expecting?
Howie Roseman's phone line is always open. Howie was only down there in Indianapolis for about 36 hours, but I will tell you that he spoke with all the agents, and you get a feel for what they're talking about. And A.J. Brown is firmly a part of the Eagles' future plans. However, this time of the year, Howie Roseman is your king wheeler dealer. So if you want to blow him over with an offer, you can certainly make the offer. But I will come on here on Monday and I will tell you after the combine, there is a lot less of a feeling that they are proactively shopping A.J. Brown. In fact, Sean Mannion's presentation to the Eagles, where he was one of 17 candidates for that offensive coordinator position, was one in which he showed cut-ups of what they could do with A.J. Brown. So I believe A.J. Brown will be an Eagle, but I will also tell you that Howie Roseman's line is always open, and if you want to offer the farm, he will listen. I
am in no way questioning the reporting, but I'm questioning whether at the end of the day this is the way this thing winds up going. I don't buy it. I mean, A.J., if we're going to look up disgruntled in the dictionary, there's going to be a picture of a wide receiver reading a book on a sideline. I know they won the Super Bowl that year, but things run their course. There's no way in the world that relationship is working. I don't care what anybody says. This is not about how good a player he is or isn't. At the end of the day, I still believe, at minimum, I believe it would be in everyone's best interest for him to start over someplace else. Tannenbaum.
Greedy, completely agree, and I'll give you two win-wins. First of all, you go to Buffalo. The owner came out and said, we are going to get another receiver. They have the 26th pick in the draft. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles and I could trade A.J. Brown for the 26th pick, I would take his money and make sure that we extend Jalen Phillips, a great trade they made last year, who played really well for them. And then go draft Omar Cooper. There's going to be a lot of receivers that could draft there. You talk about Doc connecting. How about Mike Vrabel with New England? They're desperate for an outside receiver. 31st pick in the draft. Reunite him with A.J. Brown from Tennessee. So I agree. 4 great years with the Eagles. If I'm the Eagles, I'm shifting that money from the wide receiver position to Jalen Phillips, and then I'm going to draft a receiver at the bottom of the first.
A big part of that is, what do the Eagles believe Devontae Smith is? Is he a number one? That's a big part of this, because it's a significant hole you would create in your football team as far as ability to play. Now, Devontae Smith, in the last 2 years, when A.J. Brown has not been available, 14 yards per catch, 9 yards per target, 3 yards per route. That's a number one wide receiver as far as statistical performance. There's just not a big body of work that Howie Roseman can sit there and say, I know it. There's a lot of indications that he is, but it's easier said than done. And so I understand, like, we're greater because of the subtraction thought process. That's a big hole on the football field. He is a dominant physical performer.
We have two recent things to point to in recent history. I'll go to Stephon Diggs when he was with the Minnesota Vikings. They moved on from him, and they said, with that draft pick, we will select Justin Jefferson. He was cheaper, and they thought there was a big upside.
Can I ask you a quick question in the middle of that?
Yeah.
But that wasn't a performance thing, correct?
No, that was also
chemistry.
Yeah, yes. Which sounds like this might be what we're talking about. The other one was A.J. Brown when he was with the Titans. They said, we'll move on, and we'll use that pick to take Treylon Burks. It's not a slam dunk that you draft a guy in the first round, and suddenly he's going to fill in for what A.J. Brown is.
I am not questioning the ability, the talent, the greatness, if you will, of A.J. Brown. They lost in the first round of the playoffs this year. He had 3 catches for 25 yards. What are we talking about?
But that's why we talked about last week. Was the drop-off this past season, because it was just this past season, was it because of Kevin Patullo in that offense and the mundane element and A.J. Brown running literally the same route every single play? Or was there something else? Is A.J. not the dominant player anymore? Is the chemistry and connection with the quarterback? You hear a lot of rumors out there. Is there truth to them? That's what they have to kind of determine.
There's another axiom that applies here. I'd rather trade a player too soon than too late. He's right at 29. Probably has a couple more good years at that level. If I'm Philadelphia, the way they drafted, I understand they're not perfect. Nobody is. But there's so many good receivers in this year's draft. I would be proactive, and I would shift his money to the defense, keep that defensive line strong. And again, Devontae Smith, I know Goddard's up. Maybe they re-sign Goddard. With Saquon, that's still a really good skill group.
We live in a world right now where 5 or 6 receivers get drafted in the first round every year.
Yeah.
And you know what else happens? 5 or 6 more get drafted in the second round.
Yeah, right.
There
might be 20 taken in the first 3 rounds this year.
Yeah, there's a never-ending stream with the way college football is of super talented wide receivers coming into the league. And you know what? The best trades are the ones that work for both sides. You don't have to try and, it doesn't have to be a winner and a loser. This might be a deal that winds up working out well for both sides.